Recording in progress. There we go. Now I won't butcher your name. Brian Basilico is an award-winning, internationally recognized author and speaker, and a self-professed geek. He's the founder and president of B2B Interactive Marketing, Inc., and an award-winning marketing consulting and production company in Aurora, Illinois. B2B was founded in 2001 and helps companies and nonprofits market their products and services through the effective use of online tools, including websites, blogs, email, social networking, Google, SEO, YouTube, and more. Brian's career spans almost 40 years. Since his first production company in 1979, he's produced thousands of projects for hundreds of companies, ranging from solopreneur to Fortune 100. Brian combines years of marketing experience with technical expertise to build online campaigns that continue to produce measurable results. As a musician, technician, programmer, producer, and consultant, he has built a reputation for creativity, innovation, and translating geek speak into English. Brian is also an adjunct professor, trainer, speaker, and author of many marketing and social networking blogs and articles. Brian is also the host of the popular The Bacon Podcast. It's a twice-weekly show that includes tips and tricks and guest expert interviews. The Bacon Podcast is one of the top 35 outstanding podcasts as chosen by Inc. magazine. He's also been featured as a guest expert in many print and online publications. He is a contributor to Inc. magazine online, Business to Community, Entrepreneur magazine, and local newspapers, including the Chicago Daily Herald. Please join me in welcoming Brian Basilico.
Now we are ready to rock and roll. All right, so thank you for the incredible introduction. This is going to be a presentation that is going to, what I was talking to Linda about up front is anybody can show you what buttons to push in LinkedIn. I want to show you the why behind the how and why it's important. Now, one of the things I want you to understand is I focus on B2B selling, meaning business to business. But everything I'm going to teach you works with business to consumer as well. So the focus tends to be a little bit more B2B, but the tips, the tricks, the methodologies work no matter what. It just is B2B sales has a different life cycle than a consumer sale. Generally, consumer sales are you meet somebody, they want what you have, and you sell it. In B2B, it takes a little bit more nurturing. But all of those nurturing things work with consumers as well. So as Linda said, this is me. I've been doing stuff since 2001. This company that I opened up is 2001. I was one of the first 1,000 members on LinkedIn. So I've seen everything in LinkedIn. And if you have any LinkedIn questions at the end, feel free to hit me up. I'll be happy to answer those if I didn't cover something you wanted to know. I'm the author of 3 books. Actually 5 books, but these 3 main ones is It's Not About You, It's About Bacon is the first one. It's about relationship marketing. If you want to ask me about bacon, I'll tell you that later on. The second thing is the Bacon System, which is basically the system to use online marketing around relationship marketing. And the third book is Toilet Paper Math, which is basically taking that same system and putting it into the B2B world. So if you want to get a copy of my latest ebook, it's How to Turbocharge Your Sales Engine. You can either scan that with your phone. I'll have it at the end too. And that will get you a link directly to an ebook that will explain a lot of the things that I'm talking about today. Again, the B2B focus, but still you can easily find out, things like why relevance needs to turn into relationship, awareness into authority, consistency into commitment, and engagement into execution. Relevance, awareness, consistency, engagement is the race in marketing, and relationship, authority, commitment, and execution, meaning somebody purchasing, is the race in sales. And you can easily get that at Bacon Guy. You go to Linktree. This is the simplest thing. It's link.tree/Bacon Guy. As you can tell, I move fast, write these things down. I'll repeat it at the end, but if that will give you access to everything, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, you can get to the podcast, you can get my ebook, you can get all of these different things. So let me start off with a simple quote. And this is from Zig Ziglar. And he says that you can have anything in life that you want if you just help other people get what they want. We're all in business for that one purpose, to solve people's problems, to help them, right? So quick synopsis of what we've all just been through, right? 2019, everybody's kind of, getting their business put together, and we're thinking everything's going to be great. And all of a sudden, boom, this thing called the pandemic hits us. And it was April 1st, 2020, when my customers all called me and said, hey, Brian, stop what you're doing. Stop everything. We're basically shutting down. We're going to move people out of our business and move them to their home offices. And that continued for another year, all the way through 2021. And so the key question is, how do we get past that? And what I want to teach you is some lessons on how companies actually got through it and how they're looking at the other end of this right now and why it's important. So what I tried to do was help people basically erase that, and in 2021 get back to doing, and 2022 get back to doing business and helping them water their money tree, right? We want them to continue to make money, and a lot of these companies were able to actually make more money through the pandemic using the things I'm teaching you. So it was a kind of a crazy maze at the time, right? We didn't know what to do. Some of the offices closed, our businesses closed. If we had a store, we're looking at getting into e-commerce. What else could we sell? There were so many questions, and there were a lot of things to look at. And so what I did is I helped companies kind of look through the prism of what was happening. And they had three major problems. Problem number one is, how can I sell now? Well, things have kind of gotten back to normal. But back then, a lot of our customers were bouncing around. People were working from home, switching companies. People left their jobs. Everybody is trying to pitch, right? Everybody's saying, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. They were trying to reach people, and there was just an overload of information. One of the things I say is we've all become Zombies. As much as I would love to be in California and speak to you live, we've all done Zoom meetings like crazy, right? So people are harder and harder to reach. So how do we sell to those customers? Number two is, what problem? What can we sell, right? A lot of this boils down to supply chain issues. And there are certain things that people could get. There are certain things that people couldn't. And the whole point of it is it was a thinning straw. It was like trying to get an elephant on an airplane. There was a lack of materials, delivery delays, increased costs, and we had to figure out a way to get people to overcome that. And the way that we're going to use that is LinkedIn. And then finally, who could we sell to? Did our customers move? Did we lose them? How do we find new customers? All those kind of things. Well, one of the things I've learned over years in business is that leads are a myth. Everybody says, okay, when the pandemic hit, it's like, we need more leads. We need more leads. We got to find more customers, all this other stuff. What I want you to get into your mind is the difference between a lead and a prospect. A lead is a cold call. A prospect is somebody who is going through your customer journey. They're getting through the journey of know, like, and trust you. And one of the ways that we're able to keep these companies alive and rock and roll was basically focusing on communicating to prospects, past customers, and current customers, and making sure that we focused our time on them. What that did is generate a lot more sales, because we were already talking to people who knew, like, and trusted us. And even if they weren't going to buy from us, or maybe they changed jobs or moved, they might recommend us to somebody else who's still in our purview, right? So 2022, my prediction for all of this is, what's going to happen is relationships are going to matter more. And that's one of the things that LinkedIn does better than any other social media platform. I'll explain that. Facebook is really good. Instagram is good. Snapchat, TikTok, all those things are great for getting attention. But LinkedIn is the biggest relationship builder out there. And the way I look at it is, relationships are the currency of business. So if you want to do business, you have to build relationships and maintain those with your current and past customers, and also your prospects. Bacon, a lot of people say, bacon, what's the bacon for? It stands for building authentic connections, online networking. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cover 5 basic topics. And the 5 basic topics are: what's the perceived problem, what's the real problem, what's the solution, what's the process, and what's the outcome. And again, I'm going to do this from a B2B space with a LinkedIn slant. But the things that I teach you can be used anywhere. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. Listening to me is like drinking from a fire hydrant, because I'm trying to cram in 1 hour as much value for you as I possibly can. So what I want you to do is make sure you don't get distracted, put your cell phone down, get a pad of paper or your notepad or whatever you use, your iPad, take notes. And at the end, you'll have some time to ask me questions. And if I don't answer your questions, then you can always contact me on LinkedIn later. So the first thing I want you to do is forget everything you know about social media, marketing, LinkedIn, all that other stuff. I want you to look at everything through a fresh set of eyes. So let's go to the first big idea. And what was the perceived problem that everybody was having? And these are great lessons to learn moving forward on how you can help your business to continue to grow or get it out of the doldrums if it's there. And the problem, or the perceived problem, is disruption equals, is not the disruption is not more of the same, right? We had this big disruption in business, and now we're trying to get back to where we were, right? That's not the case. We have to get to what's considered to be, quote unquote, the new normal. Normal is really just a setting on a dryer. What we're trying to do is get ourselves to what the new normal is. And business is complex. There is no question about it. There are many things that go into it. Whether you're a solopreneur or a big company, all of these things have to be done. There's marketing, there's sales, there's accounting, there's bookkeeping, there's hiring, there's firing, there's customer acquisition, shipping, whatever it is that you do. There's a lot of things that we have to do. So what we're going to focus on today is one piece of it, and that's marketing. And that is, how do we attract our perfect customers? And that is the goal. Now, one of the things on LinkedIn that you may have seen, and this is one of the places I really want to focus on, is that people say, if you connect with everybody and you post stuff, you're going to attract the right people. There are gurus on LinkedIn that say, you can get 30,000 connections. Go find 30,000 connections and connect with them and message every single one of them, and you can automate all this stuff. Well, let me show you why this doesn't work. Imagine you're selling llama food, okay? So, as I said before, leads are cold calls. So, you have llama food and you're trying to sell this, right? So, you go get those 30,000 connections on LinkedIn and you spam every single one of them, right? So, the first thing that might happen is about 3,000 or 10% of those people will respond or engage, whether you do it with email or LinkedIn messages or however you do it. Out of those 3,000 people, 300 people might actually be interested. Maybe they have a llama, thinking about getting a llama, one of those kind of things. Out of that, probably 30 people will buy. That sounds really good, doesn't it? You're going to get 30 sales if you spam 30,000 people. You might even get 3 repeat customers out of this. All of that work for 3 repeat customers. In the meantime, you've ticked off 27,000 people, right, who will never talk to you again. So what I'm suggesting that we do is we focus on what I call our tribe. And that is 150 personal connections who you maintain business with. Excuse me. So these 150 connections are basically the people that are in your business in one way, shape, or form. If you're in the B2B space, it would be your current customers, past customers. I'll explain that. If you're in the B2C space, it would be the 150 clients that are buying the most from you at any given time. If those 150 people engage with you and they share your message or somehow or another comment, like, or do something, at least 10 people from each one of them is going to see what they're doing, and that will reach an additional 1,500 people. And if they're engaging with what you do, that could reach up to 15,000 people. So focusing on a smaller audience of people is where you should spend your time, not the top down of 15,000 back, right? And so if you look at those 150, those are personal connections. You know them, you like them, they trust you, and you have a personal connection with them. The other ones are acquaintance connections. These are people that you might meet at a networking meeting. They may know you, they may even like you, but they certainly don't trust you. And those 15,000 connections are your sphere of influence. So if you talk to those 150, you get those 1,500 to engage with you, you can get 15,000 people in your sphere of influence and start to bring them in. And one of the ways that I do this is by using a CRM. You could do it with your CRM or your POS, your direct sales, or a WMS, whatever, however you're connecting with people. And the key thing is I've narrowed my down to 1,500 people. These are the contacts that I want to stay in touch with. So I put them into my CRM, and I'm not pulling in 30,000 people. I've actually pulled them out of LinkedIn, put them in there. Then from there, I'm going and finding personal connections and picking the top 150 I want to connect with this month, right? And so some of the people come in, some of the people go out. Some people are buying more, some people are new. But the bottom line is every single month, 12 times a year, I go through and I massage that and say, who are the top 150 people I want to stay in touch with? Now, this is a tribe, and that includes obviously people that I'm doing customers business with immediately, but it also includes past customers. I want to stay in touch with them. Maybe they left companies, maybe they've moved on, maybe they might recommend me to somebody. I also want to talk to prospects. Prospects are people that are in my sales funnel. They may have walked in your store, you may have captured their email address, but they haven't purchased from you, but they know you exist. Don't forget your vendors. Your vendors are part of that 150. And don't forget family and friends and any kind of acquaintances that you've met at networking events. Those are all people that you want to have in that 150. You nurture them. If they don't respond, then let them go. And that's as simple as it goes. But you want to try to focus on that.
Brian,
So I said,
you know that
go
your
ahead.
PowerPoint is not shared at this point.
What's not shared?
Your PowerPoint is not shared on your screen.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you. Hold on. Let me try it again.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
Just you talking.
Oh, okay. So something must have happened. So let me go back to here.
PowerPoint, it went away and didn't come back.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Let me see if this is better. Can you see my PowerPoint now?
Lead gen marketing.
Yep, you see it. Okay, I don't know what happened. Must have been a Zoom glitch, but thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. So anyways, I talked before about lead gen and marketing and prospecting, right? So as I said before that, this connect and pitch of, let me see, there we go. So the connect and pitch of social spam, right, is something that a lot of people do. They connect with somebody, they immediately pitch. It doesn't work. It's spam. Cold calling gives you a 1 to 3% rate of success, and direct mail even lower at 0.5 to 2%. So if you had 1,000 people or 2,000 people and you want to send things out to them, generally there's a little, small nudge of those people that you'd stay in touch with. But people tend to do business with people, and the way that this works is we're in the relationship business, so businesses do not do business with other businesses. People do business with people. So the whole point of what we're trying to do is maintain, grow, and build relationships. So the real problem, number two, the big idea is that are you reaching the right people, right? So we talked about the difference between a lead and a prospect, right? Connect and pitch. You basically cold call somebody, you send them a direct message in LinkedIn, you connect with them, they don't know, like, and trust you. Well, in order to kind of get people through this process, you actually have to go through what's known as the customer journey. It starts with creating awareness. Do they know who you are? Number two, are they considering buying something that you sell? That would be an education point. And then purchase, are they in the process of making a buying decision? Then we get to the sales part. So marketing is those first three things, and then the sales part is the next piece. And that ends up being retention and then advocacy. If you get a customer that's happy with you and they start sharing your information, now you've created a happy customer that's helping you reach that sphere of influence that I talked about. So one of the things I learned about sales in the course of the pandemic as well was that there was a guy that I met on a website called Lunch Club. And what Lunch Club is basically, it was like right at the beginning of the pandemic, this started up, and you could meet anybody from all over the world, and you could say, I want to meet a CEO, I want to meet a marketing person, I want to meet a llama food maker. And what it would do is basically it match made you, and you did basically a 45-minute just one-on-one via Zoom or via their platform. And I met this really interesting guy. His name is Tom Agan. Now, this guy's a huge data person. Okay, he works for big companies like Berkshire Hathaway, and he worked for Toyota, a whole bunch of really big companies. And so I had this great meeting with him, and I said, Tom, what was the one thing that you saw during the pandemic that you saw where companies were successful versus companies that weren't? And what he said to me, he said the companies that were spending 45% of their time and money on communicating to current customers, 25% on past customers, and 30% on nurturing prospects were the most significantly successful. The ones that spent 80-20 or 60-40, in other words, 40% of their time trying to find leads or prospects or nurture them, or 20%, were the ones that were nowhere longer as successful. So what that told me is that 70% of our sales were coming from current and past customers, and that lead gen via social ads and all that stuff was not working, especially in the B2B space. And what we were seeing is less website traffic. And what we needed to do was decrease the website traffic, but get more targeted leads, people that really needed what you had to sell. And going back to that 150, I'm going to zip through this real quick. This is what's known as Dunbar's number. He was an anthropologist who said that the average person has a tribe of 150 people, and that's the cognitive limit of people that we can pay attention to on a regular basis through trust and obligation, right? You can know 10,000 people. I speak to thousands of people all over the world, but the bottom line is there's that 150 in my tribe. This dates back to the way our brains work and even to gorillas. Gorillas will look at the people in their tribe, and they maintain 150 is about the number that they maintain. And if they see a gorilla that they don't recognize, maybe it's coming to take their banana, they get angry and they fight with that. But they can recognize the faces of all of those people in their tribe. 60% of our social time is devoted to our 5 closest friends. So we will, without any prompting, we'll spend time with our 5 closest people, the people that are in our circle. We need to expand that out to make sure we're communicating with the rest of that 150. And that's what we want to focus on. And this goes down to a corporate study too. Gore-Tex, the company that makes that fabric, Gore-Tex fabric, did a study and figured out that their optimum business model was to put 150 parking spaces in a factory. When the factory parking lot was full, that's when the productivity and the relationships and everything started to dwindle. So every factory they built from that point forward was 150. So you'll see these people, come in and say, hey, get all these influencers, buy these lists, do these things, right? I'm telling you, don't focus on that. Focus on your tribe. I see these ads on Facebook all the time. It's like, hey, I completely stopped cold calling. I got 150 prospects. You don't get 150 prospects. It's 150 cold leads. A prospect is somebody who is already liking you, and they're following you, and they're engaging with you, and you got to get them to that know, like, and trust. Leads are not in your tribe. Prospects can be in your tribe. And that's not how it works. It's like this Geico commercial where the lady puts friends up on a wall and says, these are all my friends. And she goes, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. And the other person says, I defriend you. If you're hitting up cold people, they will block you. They will not talk to you. So the chances of that working for you are slim. So big idea number 3 is we have to come up with a solution for this. How do we work through this problem? And that is through relationship marketing and social selling. And so this is where I talk about the race. The secret formula is here. I want you to copy down everything on this page. Okay, ready? I'll wait. No, I'm kidding. Don't do it. It doesn't have to be that complex. It really is about winning the race. And I already mentioned that. And the race is exactly what I said before. You have a prospect, right? A prospect gets something from you. They know you exist. They're engaging with your content. You want to get them engaged to the point where they're actually reading your material, commenting, liking, sharing. And then finally, we get to that sales where they're ready to make that buying decision. And so that's the process that we have to lead our people through. And I don't care whether you're in consumer or B2B, this is true. So what's the difference between relationship marketing and social selling? Relationship marketing is a strategy designed to foster customer loyalty, interaction, and long-term engagement. And you're trying to develop a strong connection with customers by providing them information that suits their needs and interests, by promoting open communication, having a two-way communication, not a one-way, look at my stuff and buy my stuff. Social selling, on the other side, is when salespeople use social media to find and engage with new prospects. And this combines relationship marketing and social selling to provide value to those prospects so that they can build a relationship. If you have a sales team or you are the sales team, what you're trying to do is use social media and everything to develop relationships with people to start conversations. So there's something called the open buyer's journey, and this will explain it pretty straightforward. There's oblivious, there's pondering, there's engaged, and there is need, okay? Oblivious, I don't have a llama, I couldn't care less about llama food. Pondering, I'm thinking about getting a llama, but I don't need any food. Engaged, I am getting a llama this week, or I'm getting a puppy this week, and I need to figure out what kind of food I want to feed that, right? So I'm going to have to learn what's what, right? And need is, I have the llama and I got to buy it food, or I have the puppy in my car, I'm taking it to the specialty pet food store, and they're going to tell me based on this puppy what is the best food for it, right? That's the need stage. That's right before they make the buy. So when we look at the buyer's journey, you're looking at oblivious, we don't care about. Pondering are cold, right? They don't know, like, and trust you yet. Warm is they're engaged. They see your stuff, they're reading your stuff, they're engaged with what's going on, they're consuming the information you're putting out. And hot is they're ready to buy, and you need to convince them that now is the time and you're the right person. So there are three different kinds of content that we create. The first one is awareness content. Bottom line is we have llama food. The next one is what kind of llama food is best for what kind of llama, you know, what's the nutritional value, that kind of stuff. And then finally, hey, if you're ready to buy a llama food, we sell it in 10-pound bags, 5-pound bags, free delivery, all that stuff. What are the benefits that you can deliver with that llama food? When you take that and break it down into the different areas I talked about, the cold people are your past customers. You need to remake them aware that you're still there and that you're still doing things. They may work for another company, they maybe move somewhere and they stop buying from you because you're not local, but if they find out you can ship stuff, you may re-engage them and they may buy it that way. Warm are your prospects. Those are the people that are, you know, engaged and starting to get engaged and need to go through that customer journey. And then hot are your current customers. That's where you've already sold to them and you need to communicate with them differently too. And don't forget your vendors. One of the things that I've seen companies do, which is a huge mistake, is try to put all of this into one box, right? And basically send out and say, hey, here's my email newsletter I'm going to send you once a month, and here's all the products that we sell, and here's a, you know, an article about somebody, and here is, you know, who had a baby and who had this. And it's like when somebody gets one of those emails with 50,000 things in it, they never read it, right? Because it's too much information. They're trying to reach everybody with the same thing, and they're hoping they're going to self-diagnose what's for them. In order to do this, you need to basically segment and target who you're talking to and use different information for each one. So we're going to try to win the race, right? Marketing turns into sales. I've already explained that. So as I said before, the race is create relevant stuff, you know, people that have llamas, awareness. We sell llama food consistently. You need to do it every single day, every single week. You have to decide what's right for you in your business. And it has to promote engagement. You have to get people to actually engage with your stuff. And if you do that, then you can turn that into a relationship, create authority that you know what you're talking about, you're the right person, that you can make a commitment to them and deliver on what you promise. And finally, the execution, which ends up being the sale. So marketing turns into sales when you basically run the race in the marketing side and the sales side. Both of those things need to be done right. Big idea number 4 is that what is the process? How do we do this? Now, I'm going to zip you through this really super quick, but this is what I use with my bigger companies to get them through the buyer's journey. And this works for small companies as well, maybe not in the full boat, but I'm working with a solopreneur. It's an IT company out of Minnesota, and they are using this exact same thing. So depending on the size of your company and your budget, you can probably garner some great ideas from here. So that second book I showed you, The Bacon System, talks about 3 key things. The first thing is your website has to be a home base. If you don't have a website, this will not work. You need to have a website where you can create content and post content to it. That's key. And you want to make sure you're doing content on a consistent basis. I recommend doing a blog post at least once a week that speaks to your perfect audience. And you can make those blog posts targeted to somebody who's a prospect, to somebody who's engaged with what you're doing, and also somebody who's ready to buy. You can do 3 if you want a week. But the bottom line is you have to have a place to put that content to drive people back to. And then you have to measure it. What's working? If I post about llama food or the nutritional llama food and it's getting a huge amount of traffic and people are reading it, I do more of that. If I'm talking about the different kinds of llamas and nobody really cares about that, I do less of that. You have to be able to measure what's working and what's not working. And then finally, you have to create that content and have it on your website to be able to share it out to the rest of the world. So your blog post, your content that you're creating, becomes the core of an ecosystem. And this ecosystem includes broadcast email, social media. It could be print. I still do print catalogs for people. Email drips. I'll explain what that is in a minute. Text post, advertising. That becomes a core to get people back to engage with what you're doing. And again, you have to remember that certain things are geared towards a general audience, which are prospects, and segmented audiences of, is somebody a business-to-business customer, a consumer customer, where are they in the buying process? You have to remember that you have to create content specific. The more specific it is, the more targeted it is, the better it's going to be. So the content creation system that we use for the bigger B2B customers is we take that content and we create what's known as an ebook, right? Simple ebook that says, hey, and if you want to get an example of it, and that's why I gave you that link up front, is you can actually see the process work in action. I'm not expecting you to buy anything. I just want to show you, if you go to that ebook and you download it, you will get what exactly my customers are doing, what we're doing for the other companies. So what we do is we create that ebook, and then we take each one of the 5 chapters of that and convert each one of those into a blog. So the content's already written in the ebook. We're just basically taking that ebook stuff and putting it to a blog. And if you notice at the bottom of that middle piece, basically what it's saying is that get my ebook. So if somebody just sees the blog on LinkedIn, they click on that, they get the ebook. Now they're engaged in what we're doing because they're interested. And then we take that blog and we share it out in social posts. We share it out in email broadcasts. And then if somebody downloads the ebook, they get a sequence of drips. So they download the ebook and we say, thank you for downloading. Hey, by the way, here's what's in chapter 1. Here's what's in chapter 2. Here's what's in chapter 3. So we're using that content and basically spreading it out all over the place so that people can see it. The chances of everybody seeing it more than one time are relatively slim. You're going to reach a bigger audience with this. So what happens is that blog post, if we put it up alone on LinkedIn, somebody's going to see that and maybe click on the free ebook banner. And what that does is that gets them back to download the ebook. They don't know the ebook exists, right? So they click on that and they'll be able to download the ebook, and now they get it. But we all know that people who download ebooks don't read them, right? You download them, they go into your folder, you get a phone call, you completely forgot about it, you forget what folder it's in. So the whole concept of what we're doing is we're taking that ebook and creating those email drips, which is basically an automated email sequence that says, hey, you downloaded this ebook, and by the way, in chapter 1, it says this, and it gives them 2 opportunities. They can either re-download the ebook if they want to, or they can go read the blog post about it. So we're giving them a way to engage, and we can measure each one of these activities. And I actually take that same content and I throw it up on my LinkedIn profile to give people the opportunity to download the ebook through LinkedIn as well. So that's how we're sharing the blogs. So the secret sauce that I use now is something called a newsletter inside of LinkedIn. And this is for bigger companies, and it can be for solopreneurs too. The key thing to a LinkedIn newsletter is, number one, you have to turn on creator mode. And if you don't know what that is, I can explain that later. But the key thing is you turn on creator mode, you get access to this, but you have to post something every single week, and it should lead people back to download your downloadable or get on your email list or get your free sample or whatever it is. But the whole point of this is to capture data. And I posted this, and within a couple of weeks, I had over 1,000 subscribers. And the bonus behind this is the fact that when people are subscribed, every time I add a new post to my newsletter, LinkedIn emails everybody who subscribes. This includes first level connections, second level connections, even third level connections. So the bottom line is, if somebody subscribes, they get an email from LinkedIn saying, hey, Brian posted something new on LinkedIn, you should go read it. So that same content that we put in our blog, we're copying to our email newsletter, and then LinkedIn is emailing them. So there's many different ways to build this ecosystem around one piece of content. And that's the biggest takeaway I want you to get from that. And the core of this is it's using that Get Our ebook. And once they get our ebook, now I have their information and I know who they are. And I go on LinkedIn and connect with them and say, thanks for downloading the ebook. Let me know if you have any questions. And that's the end of the story, because the system is taking it from there. The goal is to let them know that I saw that they got it and just connect with them to create that personal connection. And that's the way it works. So as you can see, all of the pieces feed into each other, right? So the key thing here is that you can create a simple ebook, and that ebook can then turn into blogs, which then can turn into emails, which turn into email drips, which turn into social posts. And you can even create videos around that. You can do a video on each one of the chapters and just say, hey, in this chapter, we talk about this, right? But everything has to lead back to some place where you can contact them to build that relationship and to basically get their contact information. And don't connect and pitch with them. Connect and just say, I'm here to help if you need it, and leave them alone. Let them connect up with you. If they engage with you a lot, then you can basically, do that 150 and add them to the top 150 people and just reach out to them and let them know that, hey, I'm here to help you if you still need help. So as you can see, that all of this stuff is a collection point for data to build relationships. So the final thing I'm going to leave you with is, what's the desired outcome? How does this work, right? And the key thing that we want to do is we want to create conversations between salespeople and clients and prospects, right? So even if you have a B2B business, or even if you have a consumer business, bottom line is there's nothing better than talking with somebody one-on-one. That's the best way to sell anything. So we did the same thing with a legal firm locally here. And the key thing that we did is we said, okay, legal firm, we're taking their old blog content. We're not even creating ebooks, right? We're just taking their old blog content and we're using this same system. We're sending it out via email. We're putting it up on LinkedIn. And the key thing, what it does is we're sharing it to each one of their partners' profiles. So it's the same blog. It's going to each one of the partners, and they practice different places in law. They practice family law. They do estate planning. They do business. They do a whole bunch of different things. And so the key thing is by putting it up on multiple people's profiles, that same content goes to each one of the 150 people in their sphere of influence. Keep in mind, every time you post something on LinkedIn, really about 150 people see it. If you have multiple people in your business and you give them access, if they'll post it for you, in the case of most of my customers, we're posting it on their profiles for them. But if you can convince multiple people, your salespeople, your office staff, whatever, to post your content, you're amplifying that content to 150 people every single time you post. So you can see why consistently we're doing it at least once a week, right? And let's say somebody in the firm specializes in financial planning, but they see a post that is on their profile. One of their 150 people see a post on their profile that's about family law, right? How does that help the person? It doesn't help the person. It helps the company in general. What may happen is a neighbor walks over and says, dude, I'm so bummed. I'm getting a divorce. I need a lawyer. He says, oh, guess what? We do family law. Let me send you an article. Or the guy might come over and say, hey, I saw your article in there. I'm getting a divorce. Your company does family law. Can you talk to me about that? Yeah, I'm going to connect you up with Carolyn, who deals with that side of the business. Yeah, give me your phone number. I'll have her call you, right? The bottom line is, remember that awareness, the education, and then the sales. That's what this does. It creates awareness, lets people know what you do, how you do it, and builds basically that top of mind. So by, again, focusing on those 150 people that I talked about, we go from noise to focused, personalized invocation. We have the ability to target the audience that will buy from us. And we know exactly who we're talking to, what their needs are, and we're communicating with them, hopefully to build a one-on-one relationship between them and ourselves or our sales team. And then the final thing I'm going to show you is that if we get one person to do it, as I said, 150 people will see it on LinkedIn. But imagine if you can get 10 people to share that same post every single week. I've got one client that has 17 salespeople, and 12 of them gave us permission to share that same article. And so what happens is each one of them have 150 customers or 150 people in their purview between vendors and friends and clients and all this other stuff. And when you add that all up, every time we take the exact same post and put it up there, 1,500 unique people are seeing it per week. What that's done is that has given them the ability to turn $1 into $10. And so they actually, I'm not kidding, this is not a lie or an exaggeration. This company is a $50 million company, but they were able to take doing this every single week into $1 million in additional profits. I mean, the amount of sales that they made, because they're using 10 salespeople and their average sale is around $5,000. Over the course of the year, they made an additional $1 million in profits. So the key thing is, if you invest that $1 in your sales team, you can get upwards of 10 to 15% ROI. And that's essentially, by doing this, you're amplifying your information, you're getting in front of more people. And that's the key, is we want to keep watering that money tree with either current information that we have or creating new information to get people aware, to get them into that customer journey and get them to talk to us. Remember that all sales happen on a phone call or an email or in person. Unless you have an e-commerce site, then people can put in their credit card. But generally speaking, all the rest of it happens one of these three ways. So building those relationships are important. Last thing I'm going to give you is 2 tools that I use that I mentioned. Excuse me. Number 1 is Nimble. It's a cheap, inexpensive $20 a month CRM. So if you don't have a CRM, Nimble actually pulls information directly from LinkedIn. So as you talk to people, I can actually star them, and I could say, okay, this person is important. They're in my 150. So I can go through there and actually tag who's in that 150. And then the other tool I use inside of LinkedIn is a tool called Crystal Knows. And Crystal Knows gives you a personality profile, a disc personality profile on anybody that you connect with on LinkedIn, so you can understand their personality, whether they're a driven person or whether they're a skeptic, so you can actually start to communicate with them in the language that they know. So the thing you need to know is, when you contact a prospect, you are a salesperson. When a prospect contacts you, you are the expert, and you want to be the expert. I'm going to leave you with this final story, and that is the $1,000 invoice. So Henry Ford had a plant. You know, obviously it was in the middle of the Industrial Revolution, and he had the assembly line, all this stuff, and everything was run with boilers, and one of his boilers shut down, so he calls a repairman. And so the repairman walks in, takes a look at the boiler, pulls out a screwdriver, puts it in, turns the screw a quarter turn, and the boiler started working. And Henry Ford was elated. It's like, wow, that was simple. That was great. So then the repairman walks up and hands him a bill for $1,000. And he looks at me and says, wait a minute, you're charging me $1,000 to turn a screw a quarter turn? And Henry Ford says, no, sir. He says, I'm not charging you for turning the screw. I'm charging you for knowing which screw to turn. So the key thing that you want to do is make sure that your customers know that not that you just have a screwdriver, right? That's what we all tend to say. I'm a lawyer. I can help you with this. I can help you with that. No, what you want to say is that you know which screw to turn for them. And that creates value. And that's what that education part and that's what the relationships part do. So again, if you want to learn more, there's tons of resources. You can follow me on the Bacon Podcast, or there's 750 plus interviews on there. Every single week I put up those blog posts at b2b-im.com. And as I said before, you can go to Linktree. You can scan this at the end. I'll leave this up so that you guys can see it, and I'm going to open it up for questions at this point. With the last few minutes, we may go over a little bit, which is fine. So go ahead, and any questions or I'll go ahead and close this. The best thing I'm going to tell you to do is go to Linktree, linktr.ee/Bacon Guy. linktr.ee, so it's Linktree with a dot in the middle, /Bacon Guy. You will find all my links. You'll find this ebook. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can get the podcast. Everything that you want to know is sitting there. Super, super simple, super easy. So with that being said, I'm going to jump back and stop my screen share and see if anybody has any questions. And Linda, did this match your expectations? Was this valuable?
Yes, it was a fire hose of information, but yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I know that there's so many of us that have jumped onto LinkedIn, kind of noodled around a little bit, and I think I've kind of left it there. I think the major challenge that I have whenever I do accept a contact request, I've been a little bit picky, if you will. I don't just randomly connect with people, because I've always felt that LinkedIn was a tool to use for people that I know, or that at least I've heard of, with good reputation. And it's kind of like Facebook. When you first open up your account, you want to be friends with
everybody, right?
And over the years, you go through a purging process. People that just don't engage with you. I don't know if they're lurking around to see what you post or whatever it is. And I think that message is similar. Finding your tribe, not just saying yes to everyone that wants to connect with you, because, like you said, often someone will connect with you, and within 24, 48 hours, you're getting spammed. And it's like, dude, I don't even know you. I don't even know you. And you're already trying to sell me. And so understanding that relationship, it's always about, can I give you something? Here's a blog on, llama food or whatever. Here's a free gift to you. I think is a terrific way to open up communication. I mean, it's certainly the beginning, and there's quite a way to go. But I think that if you can continue to provide whatever that free information is. So we have a realtor here, and it could be tips and tricks on selling your home. What are the top 5 things you want to do to prepare your home to sell? What's important, what's not, that kind of thing.
All of those things. What flowers to plant now? Why you want to change out your hose in your garden every 5 years? I mean, just. You don't want to overwhelm people. You want to give them short. Remember what I said before, is keep it short, keep it simple, keep in their purview, give them something of value, and that's it. And going to your point on LinkedIn is you have to be proactive in connecting with people that you meet and connect with them, and go in there and just say, hey, I met you at the Lakewood Chamber networking event. I just wanted to say hi. I would love to connect with you, right? And just leave it at that. And then if you're posting things, they'll get. You don't have to go in and do the big sales pitch, because if they see that you're posting about, 5 remodeling tips, things like that, they'll figure out, A, you're a realtor, and B, that you provide value up front, and C, if they do decide to sell their home or buy something, they may put you in the mix of people they speak to for advice, right? Remember, becoming the expert. You want to be the expert. The expert doesn't sell. The expert provides good information, and they decide in their mind if they want to use you or not.
I don't know if this is too long-winded of an explanation for us, but when you are talking about blogs on your LinkedIn site, I'm not familiar with how to do that. Is there a simple process?
Well, there's three different things that you can do. Number one, like I said, you want to create your blog on your own website to begin with.
Right.
Okay, because you want to have that home base. Here's the bottom line: if LinkedIn came to you and you put something up there, and they accuse you of doing something against their profile, and you put all your blogs up there, and they shut you down, all your information goes away.
Right.
Your website you can back up and you own. So what you do is you create the blog, you copy that information, and you can go in and post it as an article.
Okay.
When you say post, it gives you do a post, do an article. If you go through the whole thing of creating a newsletter, which I only suggest you do if you're going to be a rock star consistently every single week, same day, same time, posting content on a regular basis. Do not try to create a newsletter and expect it to do anything if you're only going to post once a month or very infrequently. So you can do one of two things with that blog off your website. You can either just copy the link and put it in as a post and say, here's my latest information about selling your home. I love picking on a realtor because we're in the middle of that right now at my house. So I'm all over it. So the bottom line is, you have an article on your website, you post it as a link, and you say, here's some tips about buying spring flowers and what's hot, what's not, what looks good, how to match your colors, whatever. And then it's a link back to your article. They end up back at your website, right? If there's a pop-up that says subscribe to my newsletter, they'll subscribe to your email list, right? If they don't, they may just see that you're posting, posts on a regular basis and, oh, that was interesting, I'm looking for another one, so they may, it may take them 4, 5, 7, 12 times, but they'll start engaging, they'll like it, they'll ask questions, they may even message you. The other thing is you put up an article, which is basically you copy the exact same text out of your blog and you paste it along with the pictures into LinkedIn, and that shows up as an article. A newsletter is an article with subscribers, but it's a little bit different. But it's the same thing. So you can either post a link or you can copy and paste all that information and it's there.
Got it. Okay, good enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, now that I've monopolized all the time here, any questions or comments?
There were two in the chat. Let me see what's there. Screen did not share, PowerPoint not sharing. Okay, thanks for that, guys. And sorry, I don't know what happened. I mean, it was rolling, it just stopped.
Well, we got you at the critical time, so that's all I'm concerned about. Any comments, questions?
I have a two-part. Go ahead, Risa.
Okay, this is quick because I didn't have a pencil in my hand when you were giving me that link tree. Can you tell me one more time what it's
LANK link link tr. So it's linktr.ee. Okay.
Okay.
tr.ee, which spells the link tree with a dot in the middle of it, and then it's / bacon guy.
Bacon guy. Okay. And you'd use that within LinkedIn?
No, that's just separate. It's a separate program that has all of my links in there. Like, for example, if you want to learn about those two things I talked about, Nimble and Crystal Knows, there's a website in there that says Brian's Products. It's brianloves.info, and you can get links to those there if you want to go explore. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, it's there. If you want to go to my podcast, you want the blogs, anything you want is all on that one. It's basically all of my links, because I have book website, B2B website, LinkedIn website. I mean, I have 10 websites I maintain every single month for different audiences.
Okay, I found it. I put it in the URL.
Yay!
Yeah, okay, so you're there. All right.
Yep. All right, thank you.
Just one real quick.
Yeah.
Are you saying we all have, if I don't have an ebook, do I have to create one?
Well, if you have blog posts, you can use the blog posts alone. That's fine. But an ebook is a whole system. If you go to my ebook and download it, it will explain the system.
Okay.
You don't have to, but it's one of the tools that does help.
Brian, do you think? I mean, Risa's a photographer, so do you think an ebook is a good idea?
Oh, absolutely, because you can actually put all of your photography inside there and use it as basically a profile to show it, and you can explain the different kinds of photography that you do. Why you want to hire a professional photographer for a headshot? Why do you want to hire a professional photographer for your pets? Why you want to hire, each one of those can be chapters and talk about the specifics of what's different with working with a good photographer like you.
Cool. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Todd.
Yes, I had two things that are closely linked, and the timing is great because this actually happened last night and this morning already.
Boom.
Making myself the expert has always been a challenge for me in the sense that that's easily done and I'm accepted that way, but I'm running the whole business and there's this cadre of customers and potential customers that kind of refuse to go to any of my capable, trained, and professional employees. So
Yes.
like all the business has to siphon through me. And part two, I'll let you comment because it's going to go back and forth, is if I do a great job of getting my employees to push out their posts on LinkedIn and other social media, which some of them do a great job, I am aware in the back of my head that I don't have a zero turnover. So I'm turning some of those employees into spokespeople who can take their set of friends or potential clients with them.
Yes. Yeah, so part one of being the expert and you're the buck stops here kind of guy, that's okay. You know, as long as people talk to you and they buy from you, why not? What's bad with that? I find nothing wrong with that. May eat up your time. It just means you may have to get somebody else to take over some other things so you can spend more time talking to customers. That's just my take on it, short. Second piece of it is, no matter what business you're in, the business never owns relationships, it only owns business. So it's going to happen if somebody moves on. But the key thing is, if you're the spokesperson and you're the person they're buying from, if they move on and take some fans with them, that's their relationships to carry with them. And again, what are they going to do? They're going to promote your business using your content. Who's going to create the content for them? How are they going to do anything with that? If the other company doesn't do anything with it, then it's going to die. So focus on what you can control. Don't worry about what you can't. That's my take.
I guess what's linked to that is, should I be more active in letting them or encouraging them to post content through or on our social media and sharing it to theirs?
Well, the problem with it is if you put it on a business page, it gets an average of 250 followers. If you put it on a personal profile, it reaches 150 people for each person. So if it's on your business page and they share it, that means they have to get back to your business page and like your business page to see it. You're trying to remember, businesses don't do business with other businesses. You want to focus on the personal side. So you're better off having them, if you provide them a blog post with a link and say, here's the link, here's the text that I want you to post, please post this week. You're going to get consistency through everybody. And so if somebody sees it once, they may see it twice. And the end result is they're going to read something on your website from your business.
So I guess maybe encouraging them to tag the place or something would give every customer a chance to come back and see us instantly.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you. Great.
You're welcome.
Any other comments, questions?
Did I hurt your brains? That's the normal response. That's okay to nod your head and go yes. Yeah. Because it's like I say, it's a lot. And there is no easy. I mean, I do have an easy button here, right here, right?
That was easy.
But unfortunately, this does not exist in business.
Yeah.
So there is no easy answer. But what I hope I gave you guys was the scope of why the relationship side of things is important and how it works in LinkedIn, and then how you can utilize that. It's the tip of the iceberg. Everything I talked about is in my blogs, is in my podcasts, and if you want to dig into any one of those pieces, you can find it there.
All right. I'd like to say something to everybody who's participating. If we're not connected on LinkedIn already, I am going to request a connection. So don't dodge me.
Yay! Somebody who learned something today. That makes my heart sing. Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay.
Good enough. Good enough. Okay. Well, if that's all, we're going to cut you loose, Brian.
Yay! I'll let you guys do your thing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Feel free to connect with me. Ask me questions. I mean, it's there.
Absolutely. And thank you for the link. You'll be sorry you gave that to
No,
us.
I am never sorry. No, yeah, because most people don't abuse it. If you abuse it, you lose it.
Right. Well, we hope that we can have you come back in the future and
Sure.
And talk some more and give us some more pearls of wisdom. And once again, I want to thank you. A lot of information, a lot of good stuff. I'm excited to get back onto LinkedIn now, and because I've abandoned it a little bit, right? And see what I might be able to do to pump up the jam for the chamber. So thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
You're
you all
welcome.
for joining
I'm
us.
going to leave. Have a great one. Take care, guys, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Thank you, and happy St. Patty's Day to you, Bacon Guy. Okay, well, thank you all, and Trudy, thank you for your comment. Appreciate it, and I hope that you all learned something. I know it was an awful lot, but gee, I think that it's a new way of looking at our LinkedIn possibilities and opportunities. And if you're interested in having Brian back, send me a message, let me know, and maybe we can do a 2-hour session this time, a long lunch perhaps, and get some more information from him. So thanks again. Look forward to seeing you. Don't forget, tomorrow we are having our lunch mob at Bruno's restaurant at 12 noon. Come and join us. Come and support our local restaurant. They all really, really need our help and our support. And I think that they would be absolutely thrilled to see each and every one of you enjoying their fabulous European cuisine. So mark your calendars tomorrow, 12 noon at Bruno's restaurant. Okay, thanks. Look forward to seeing you. Take care.
Bye, Linda.
Bye-bye.
Good, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for joining us.